Let's begin. Today's August 13th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses the following 5 criteria cards. Criteria card 3, 13, 16, 18, and 19. And the puzzle uses the orange verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 5 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, and finally criteria card E. So criteria card A looks at our middle digit, the square digit, and compares it to the number 3. So should square be less than 3? Should it be equal to 3? Or should it be greater than 3? Criteria card B looks at our middle and last digit, square and circle, and compares them. So should the value of square be less than circle? Should they be equal? Or should the value of square be greater than circle? Criteria card C will look at our 3-digit solution and will let us know a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. Should there be more even than odds, or should there be less even than odds? Criteria card D will look at our 3 digits, triangle, square, and circle, add them together, and will let us know whether the sum should be an even quantity or an odd quantity. And finally, criteria card E will look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them up, and compare the sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should the sum be greater than equal to 6? Or should the sum be greater than 6? And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that one unique 3-digit code that abides by all of the 5 criteria cards we just described. And we're going to begin with an initial proposal of 314. So the first thing I want to know is a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. So let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Okay, so the Turing Machine approves of my proposal. Notice that I do have 2 odds to a single even. So it's basically telling me that there are less even than odds. So let's go ahead and put that in our notes in section C. And since we do know that there are less even than odds, there are 2 scenarios. One similar to the proposal, where we do have 2 odds and a single even, or potentially they could be all odd. Let's test criteria card D. Okay, so in this case, the proposal does not agree, or the Turing Machine does not agree with my proposal. Notice that we are adding up all the digits, so let's go ahead and add up 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. That sum total is an even quantity, but the Turing Machine doesn't approve of that. So it's letting me know that the overall sum of the 3 digits should indeed be odd. So let's go ahead and type that up in for section D. So triangle plus square plus circle should be an odd quantity. And again, knowing that we do have a majority of odds, if the overall sum of the 3 digits should be odd, that means that they all have to be odd. The reason is, again, let's consider if there's a majority of odds, that means we have a minimum of 2 odds. So if we add those 2 odds, we get an even quantity. If we want the overall sum to be odd, we need to add an odd to that initial sum of odds, so that 3 odds add up to a sum total of odd. So in fact, that means that, again, confirming that the solution has 3 odds. Okay, and since they are all indeed odd, let's go out and cross out all of the evens for triangle, square, and circle. Now, what we don't know is if anything is paired up or if they're all distinct. Okay, so we do have this criteria card B where potentially square and circle could be equal. But let's go ahead. Let's see, this is interesting. Let's go ahead and test criteria card E and see what we can find out. Okay, so the Turing Machine does approve of my what I chose for triangle and square. Notice that when I add up 3 and 1, I get 4. The Turing Machine confirms that the sum total of the first two digits should be less than 6. So let's go ahead and put that in our notes in section E. So triangle plus square should be less than 6. And since the sum of the first two digits have to be less than 6, I think we can actually eliminate both 5s for triangle and square, because at a minimum, if you were to add 5 and say a 1, that's already 6. And anything bigger will, obviously be out of range. So yeah, so we can actually cross out both of the 5s. Okay, well, that does it for this round. We did complete our 3 Turing tests. We're now going into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. So again, notice we didn't test criteria card A, which would let us know what the value of square will be. And notice at this point now it's a 50-50. It's either a 1 or a 3. And we also didn't test criteria card B, comparing square and circle. And I think everything else is pretty well established. So now notice that between triangle and square, because again the sum has to be less than 6, we know it can't be 3, 3. Triangle 3, square 3, because that does give us 6. So the only possibilities are 1, 3, 1, 1, and 3, 1. So that's for the first two digits. Now what about criteria card B? How would that affect it? Well, we do have a lot of choices here. And it could be something like maybe 1, 3, 5, where we know square would be less than. If we establish square to be 3, then obviously the only thing that's greater than 3 would be 5. That's a possibility. And if we do pick 3 for square, that forces triangle to be a 1. So that also makes sense. So yeah, let's go for that. I mean, it could be also that it could be 3, 3, square and circle, but let's go with 1, 3, 5 and see where that takes us. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and test criteria card A. Okay, so yeah, it was correct. Square should be equal to 3. So let's go ahead and put that in our notes in section A. So square is equal to 3. And since it is equal to 3, we can cross out the 1 for square, obviously. And as I mentioned before, now that we know square is 3, triangle can't be 3, because that sum would be 6, and we know it's got to be less than 6. So we can cross out the 3 for triangle. And so far, yeah, we've got 1, 3. And now, interestingly, yeah, there are actually a lot of possibilities here. I could see, yeah, where maybe circle is less than square. It could be equal. It could be greater. And unfortunately, if I get it wrong, I'd have to go to a third round. Oh, well, let's just get it over with. Okay, so luckily it was greater. I'm not sure. Again, I could see it go either way. I think it was just luck. Okay, well, let's type that up, and that was again B, where square is less than circle. So let's type that up for B. So square is less than circle. Okay, and of course, the only possibility is the number 5. Okay, and so it looks like our solution is 135. Okay, so it looks like everything here, we only got that one X, so everything is confirmed. So let's go ahead and verify. So we've got 135. And let's see, did we get it? Okay, excellent. Well, now let's actually see how we did versus the Turing machine. So we did do it in using 5 questions. That's always good when you have that number of criteria cards. And in the first round we did C, D, E, and the second round we did the 2 remaining, with D being the only incorrect. So let's go type that up. So C was correct, D was incorrect, and then we tested A, B in the second round. Okay, wow, surprisingly, we did do it in 2 less questions, so we beat it using only 5 questions, but I really do believe this criteria card B, I think we just got lucky and got the 5. Again, I could easily see it where it could be less than, or equal, or greater. I think I could see a puzzle where, all those cases could be. And other than that, obviously the first 2 questions really helped out to, eliminate all the evens. So that was very helpful. And then again, in some sense, we probably got lucky as well on criteria card E to know that we could eliminate the 5s and it'd be 1 and 3 in some order. So very good puzzle. I think got lucky, but still had fun. Add your comments and do give it a thumbs up so that more people can find more people can find this channel, and hit subscribe to be notified. Well, until next time, have a great one.